Okay, I think that we are live here, or I guess recording. Guys, hi! This is my very first video. I have been thinking of doing this for a really long time, but honestly, I was just pretty terrified of it. I'd much rather be on Instagram stories or something like that versus like recording, or maybe eventually graduating to doing a Facebook Live. But now's the time. So I apologize in advance if this is slightly awkward. I feel like it's awkward for me too, but just want to thank you for being here and for listening. I kind of have a fun reason that I'm popping in today, and that is because today my business officially turns 3 years old, which I know is not a lot compared to some of you, but if you know anything about me, you know that I love any reason to celebrate anything. Like if a girlfriend finishes a journal, I'm all like, we should go out for dinner and celebrate because that is an accomplishment. So today I'm going to try to get some work done, but I'm definitely just really hyped that I can't believe that another year has gone by and just everything that I've learned from that. So I'm really grateful for all of you. If you guys have just been there for the entire journey, the entire process, so many of you have been so encouraging and just reaching out and saying, hey, I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing. The clients that have hired me, you guys are all gems. I love working with each and every one of you. You've made me to be the person that I am today and this small business owner that I am. So thank you. But also, the other purpose that I wanted to actually begin a video was I woke up with just a few things that were just really on my heart with, you know, it being another business anniversary, and I'm not pretending to be an expert in any way, but I do know that I have learned a lot in the last 3 years. And several of you recently have been direct messaging me, personally messaging me, whatever, just reaching out with various things. And just, I think a lot of you are dreamers. And I really believe that like attracts like, and I'm a huge dreamer, and obviously I've started my business and just kind of like got out and did it. And I think that what I woke up with today, I'm hoping that if it resonates with at least one person, then I feel like this has been a success. But I have 3 or 4 things that I just felt like I wanted to share with you guys. So I'm just going to take the next like 15-ish minutes or so and just kind of fire hose what is on my mind. And hopefully it will be related. But mainly my heart is this, is that I wish that someone would have sat me down and said some of these things that I want to share with you today when I was first starting, or at least even first dreaming about having my own business and leaving my full-time job, and just what it meant to pursue what's kind of like burning in your heart. So I think I want to share a quick story with you that kind of catapults all of this into where I'm going. And that is about 4 or 5 years ago, I was actually like a camp counselor for an all-girls camp over the summer. And we were in Oregon. And there was a day where you are supposed to, all of the girls go to a high ropes course. And if any of you know me, you know that I like adventure and I like traveling and I like doing all of those things. But my type of adventure is like, whoa, just tried that food that I've never tried before. Not like, let me put a harness on and then go 50 feet in the air and see if I can walk this beam. Like, no, that is me shaking almost to the point of tears, and then I get really angry because I'm scared and threatening things, and it's not necessarily the most becoming like Tara that you've ever seen, but I was in this position where I was a like counselor. I was on staff. I'm supposed to be a role model for the students that are going outside of their comfort zone, and all I know is that I don't feel qualified at all to be in this position, to be leading these girls where I'm like, yeah, you can do it. Let's go on this ropes course. Like, I wanted to bury my head in the ground. But my perspective changed when the instructor said something I will never forget. And what he did is he redefined the definition of success for all of us so that we all were on the same page. And this is what he did. He said, for some of you, this is going to come really easily. And this is a day, an activity that you just love. And you've been waiting to do this. And this is going to be the highlight of your week. And for some of you, this is the last place you want to be. This is totally out of your comfort zone. You're really scared and all of that. But I want to say one thing, and that is we are successful because we are in this together. And each girl, each individual here has their level of success, and that makes us all successful. And so what I mean by that is this. If you don't feel like you can do this, I want you to go one step further than what you think you can. I want you to give me 110%. So if you don't feel like you can do certain obstacles on this ropes course, but you do step one of the obstacle, that is immense success, and we're all here to celebrate with you. Because when each person reaches their success, their definition of success, we all succeed. And from that moment on, that guy had gained my trust. I was still terrified. So we came to one of the areas that is called the swing, where it's a pole and a platform, and you sit on the platform and then you swing off. I cannot tell you how absolutely terrified I was. And it was me and this one other girl that have just tears just welling in their eyes. And these other girls are like, wah, you know, screaming, jumping off, wanting to do it 5 times over. And here we are, like, very last in the group. Hopefully they'll forget that we're here and that we haven't gone yet. And the instructor looks at me and he says, Tara, are you ready? And I said, no, sir, I don't think I can do this. I cannot do this. And he said, you don't think you can do the swing? Can you get up on the platform and sit on the platform? And I said, no. And he goes, okay, Tara, I want you to do something for me. I want you to climb the pole, give me the biggest high five you've ever given me, and then climb right back down. Do you think you can climb the pole? And I said, no, I don't think I can even climb the pole. He goes, okay, I want you to give me 110%. So he hooked me up. I was latched in just to climb a pole. And I climbed, and I got halfway there, and I started crying. And I looked up, and he said, Tara, I believe in you. You can do this. We're all cheering for you. And I ended up climbing the top of that pole, and I gave him the biggest high five, and he said, I am so proud of you. Today you have reached your definition of success, and you have made your team successful. Climb back down and give everyone a hug. Guys, I have never forgotten that day. And I think that so many times we are afraid of doing something. We're afraid of starting something. We're afraid of taking the first step because we feel like we're going to fail. We feel like it's not going to look like her success or his success. And one of the main things that I just wanted to start with today was this really freeing concept, if you let it be freeing. And that is, I love you, but no one is going to remember when you actually start. So maybe for you, you are wanting to become a photographer. You are wanting to start your own business. You are wanting to open your own Etsy shop. You know, you are wanting to become a mother. Whatever it is, I believe that like attracts like. And I think that the issue is not so much that we aren't driven or that we don't work hard. It's that we can get frozen by the very first step, the very first thing of just starting. And I just want you to know that, like, you taking that first step, you starting that website, you starting or posting that very first blog post, that's success for you because it's something that you've never done before, but it's being one step closer to that one dream that you have that maybe you haven't really told people about. Maybe your first step is just sharing with your best friend that, like, yeah, you have this full-time day job, but you're like really curious and really passionate about this thing that's just a hobby right now. And I just want to say that, like, No one's going to remember your first blog post and maybe how awkward it was. Maybe your mom will, because she's going to be cheering for you and like so excited. But no one's going to remember, so just start, because we all can be better because you choose to do something. You know, when I got up on that pole, it wasn't just an example as me being a staff member and all of that, but I was someone who was overcoming my fear. And my success, my final hoorah did not look like everyone else's. And, but it was still what I was supposed to do. So, with that, I think it kind of goes along with this, but it's a little bit harder to say. So I feel like I should be smiling a little bit more so it doesn't feel like so intense. But something that I've learned in the last 3 years that I'm only now starting to see fruit of is this idea. If you have time to complain, you have time to learn. And what I mean by that is this. When I decided that I wanted to be a photographer, I barely knew how to shoot manual. I was still on auto. When I said I want to be a wedding photographer, my experience was just that I had been in 8 weddings. I had only been a bridesmaid. I had never been to a wedding as a vendor. I didn't even know what a wedding vendor was like supposed to be or look like, or what you wear, or how you act, or, you know, do you go say hi to the coordinator or do you not? Like, you know, all of those things, like I didn't know, but I just said, I want to be a wedding photographer. And because of that, a lot of you have been asking me, like, which is super sweet and super flattering, like, hey, Tara, can I shadow you? Can I, you know, would you be willing to share some tips or thoughts with me? And guys, one of the biggest things that you just have to decide, do you want to learn? One of the photographers that I really looked up to and still do, I text her a question and she basically was like, I don't mind sharing information with you, but have you even Googled this? Because you can find this on Google. And it was a really eye-opening moment for me, because I just thought that, well, if you're in this profession, then like you have things that you could share with me. Instead of, you know what? No one's going to remember when you start, and no one cares as much as you do about getting to where you want to be. And so I just started learning, and I wasn't booked. And so, you know, instead of complaining, and yeah, I had bad days, but instead of complaining that my calendar isn't full, that I'm not being booked, that no one knows my name, I use that time to educate myself, to get to know people, to connect and get out of my comfort zone and see if there's a random Facebook group in my locality of professionals that meet, and if I can be a part of that. A lot of you have asked, like, how did you learn about your settings and about your camera and all of that? And guys, I took online classes that were free. If you show up live at creativelive.com, you can learn from the world's best instructors and not have to pay anything. Is it a commitment? Yeah. I've taken like Jasmine Star's 6-week boot camp, and it was free because I showed up live, but I showed up live every single day because I didn't have money to invest. I didn't have money for the education. And what I hear a lot of people that have this passion that they want to turn into something, instead of just starting, instead of just doing something, they stand around and they hem-haw around. And I just want to say, if you want something, you have to go after it, and you have to teach yourself. And today's day and age, there's no better time than to learn. And I just wish that someone would have just shared that with me really bluntly, of like, hey, there are things that if you type into Google, you can watch hours of YouTube videos of people explaining what this button does on your camera, or how to open an Etsy shop, or how to create a website with Squarespace. So anyway, with that, this is kind of the main thing that I wanted to share, and that is the perception aspect of what you do. Is perception is reality. And I don't say that in some like weird way of, you need to lie or be fake or anything like that. But Marie Forleo, founder of B School, said it really well when she said that she challenged all of the students. If you were already where you want to be, how would you act? So for me, if I was one of the top 10 wedding photographers in the world, would I be wasting my time on cat videos on Facebook? Would I be wasting my time in looking in way too many aisles in Target? Like, if I was the most sought after photographer, if I had a solidly booked calendar, if I had whatever it is, fill in the blank, how would I be spending my time? How would I be dressing? How would I be speaking to other people? And how would I be making people feel? What would my client experience be like? What would from a consultation to final delivery look like? If I was the best in the world, the best in my profession, how would I act? And someone else has said this many times to me, is start where you want to be and then work backwards. So if I'm a professional wedding photographer, maybe you're not there yet. Maybe you're just beginning, but you know that that's where you want to be. Then you need to start creating that reality for yourself. And what that looked like for me, I'm just going to be really real with you guys because I'm all just about being real, is you have to surround yourself with people that are better than you. And yet, find that balance of not like leeching off of them. So do your due diligence, do your homework, and finding out what you can on Google and YouTube and blogs and Creative Live and online classes and all of that. And be able to, kind of hold your own in a conversation, but then surround yourself with people that you look up to, that are better than you, that you can give some sort of value to, but also know that you can humble yourself and really learn from them. The whole perception is reality thing is that I actually had this, you've heard the thing, fake it till you make it. So when I was new in Richmond and newly starting my business this time, about 3 years ago, I randomly saw this Facebook photography group pop up in my feed. And it was a group of people who meet and still do meet once a month. And they have local meetings where they just really connect with each other. They learn from each other. They'll have panelists come. They'll go to an art gallery together. It's all about just like building stronger businesses and building a community together of local photographers that are professionals. And I made a determination. I was super uncomfortable. I'm pretty sure my hands were really sweaty and awkward when I shook people's hands. But I made a determination. I'm going to meet 2 people here at this meeting that I can find a genuine connection with, so that in the next meeting, I can have someone I can make a beeline to and have someone to talk to, and I'm going to hold something in my hand so that I look like I belong there and all of that. And I'm like, no joke, I've had my website up for like 3 weeks. And I walked in there and they said, oh, hi, my name is such and such. And I was like, I'm Tara with Pattengale Photography. And that was one of the first times that I was like, oh my gosh, I'm a photographer and this is what I do. And I met people, but here's the thing. The second meeting that I went to, the leader of the meeting was basically just updating the members on the heart of that group and the purpose of that group. And what he said shocked me. And I've now since told him this, and we've had a really good laugh about it. But he said, if you're here and you don't know what buttons do on your camera, or you don't know how to do a blog post, or you don't know how to do these other things that we would all say are great because we all start somewhere and we all have to start somewhere. But if that's you, you don't belong here. This group is for professional photographers so that we can create a safe environment where professionals can network with each other and share problems and find solutions together. So if you're just beginning, if that's you, let me refer you to a different group. And I had a choice in that moment. I had a choice to say, oh my gosh, he just put me in my place. Or I had a choice to say, no, I take myself seriously and I want to be fully booked. I want to learn. I want to be a professional. And so I'm going to not talk and just observe how professionals carry themselves and how some of the best in Richmond operate their businesses. And for the first year of me attending, the leader thought that I was an introvert, which I am not. I'm a complete extrovert. But he thought I was an introvert. And when I started slowly speaking up, it was amazing what happened. And so this whole thing of like perception is reality, fake it till you make it, some of it's true. But more than that is that you need to put yourself in position where you are uncomfortable, but yet you can learn. And it starts with you have to take yourself seriously so that other people will take you seriously. I hope that makes sense. If you guys have more questions about that, like I'm happy to expand on it. But you got to get out there and you have to start. I'm only here at birthday number 3 because I decided to start a website that was really awkward. It was a bad website. But I just did it. And the last thing that I want to share is the power of talk, the power of saying, I am a photographer. I am a small business owner. I am a mom. I am a wife. I am whatever. When you speak truth, when you speak something into a situation, it really starts to resonate and it really starts to become reality. I mean, if you think about it, if you're always talking negatively, whether it's self-talk or outwardly to someone else, and you're complaining and, just saying, oh, how hard life is, which everyone has difficulties. I'm not saying that that's not real. But if you're always thinking of that, it's going to be really hard for you to think about what's going well in your life, what you're actually grateful for. I just started doing a gratitude journal, and it honestly was very difficult for me because I was like, this was just an average day. Like, I answered an email. Am I supposed to be grateful for that? Like, I don't know. But then as I did it and as I developed that practice, as I developed the practice of speaking positivity into my life, into my career, into myself, so that I could begin to believe it. So that I could begin to believe it, other people started believing it. And clients invest in people that they believe in. They invest why you do it, not necessarily what you do. And everyone said amen. But I just want to share with you guys like the power of talk. That when you walk into a room, or you even start with the small thing of saying to your spouse or to your boyfriend or your girlfriend or to your best friend, and you say, hey, can I talk to you for a second? I've been wondering if I should pursue this. What do you think? Or you just say, you know what, I think I'm going to pursue this. And if it fails, at least you tried. I would rather fail at something that I tried instead of never knowing what it was like to actually see if I could do it. And the power of talk, the power of perception is reality, the power of just starting is that when you start doing those things, when you start believing in yourself, so do other people. And it's very common, like, so let's just be really practical about this. You meet someone new at a happy hour or whatever, and they say, oh, what do you do? That's your moment to say, I am a photographer. It doesn't mean that you have to say, I shot over 50 weddings when you've only shot 2. It doesn't mean that you have to say, oh, my website, I just launched it. It's have confidence and say, I'm a photographer. What about you? And then if the conversation keeps going, you have little bits of things to share. If they say, oh, wow, how long have you been doing that? You can be honest and say, well, I just officially launched my website, but it's been something I've been really interested in. When did you get started in your career? Whatever it is, or wedding photography, or portraits, or babies, or whatever. Here's the thing. People talk, and they like to be listened to. So in a creative field, when someone says, what do you do? And you say, I'm a photographer, almost every single person knows someone who's in need of photos, wants photos themselves, has had an experience with a photographer, or would like to learn more about it. It's very rare that, in my experience, that when you say, oh, I'm a photographer, that it's just like crickets, that people don't know what to say. They might be like, oh, I need headshots, and you're like, I don't really do headshots, I only do weddings. But the point is that people talk. And when you're just beginning, you need people talking about you. And so, think of ways that you can get yourself out there where you are maybe uncomfortable, but you're spreading the word of, hey, I'm a photographer and you want to grow your business. Hey, I want to open up an Etsy shop. Would you consider wearing my jewelry? And let me know how it feels. Let me know if it snags on any of your clothing. Let me know, prototype, test, see. And here's the thing, guys. Just like that instructor said, everyone's success is different, but yet we're all successful when we try something new. I want to just impart that to you as well, that starting a business is scary. Being in business is scary. I'm looking ahead at now my 3rd or 4th official year of business, and I think to myself, wow, I still don't feel like I know what I'm doing. Sometimes, like I've learned a lot. There's been a lot of people that have poured into me, and that's been great. But I want to be a lifelong learner, and I want to encourage other people to do the same. So anyway, if you have been with me to the very end of this video, I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you. And this is me just starting. This is me with that first blog post that feels really awkward and you're like freaking out if anyone's going to like it. And you think, oh my gosh, they're going to remember this till kingdom come. No, they're not. And so I'm walking the talk and I'm saying this is my first video, and I hope that if you resonated with anything that I said, drop me a comment below and tell me what it is that what are you passionate about? What are you wondering, maybe I should start this, or better yet, tell me what it is that you want to start. And what's your first action? What's your first actionable step to get you one step closer to achieving that? Because I want to cheer you on. I want to celebrate with you. And I want to follow along with your journey. So comment below. Find me over on Instagram at Pattengale Photo. Whatever. So I hope you guys have a great day. And thanks for listening to my first video. I will maybe be in touch a little bit later.